It's episode 99 of the Hooks End MMA podcast. We got Wayne Gretzky's episode here, one off the century mark, and we come out of a little slumber and hiatus to give you some best bets, easy lines for UFC 305, happening in Perth, Australia tomorrow night, which is, highlighting Duplessis versus Izzy Adesanya for the middleweight championship of the world. So before we get into our best bets, going to kick it over to Zoni for some MMA hot headline news, and we'll get right into our best bets. And we'll be meeting you at the cashier Saturday night at midnight, and let's get ahead of that book.
Welcome back, gentlemen. Just wanted to give a shout out to fellow Canadian. It's the PFL 8, the playoffs tonight. It's August 16th. It'll be kicking off. It's in Hollywood, Florida. The main card's at 9 p.m. Just a shout out to Michael Dufour, a fellow Habs fan, and he's got himself in the semifinals here as a huge dog against Gaji Rabadanov. And I still think he won his last fight. He was able to make it through into the playoffs. Talking about Dufour, that was a really bad decision on the judges' point of view, and so that would put him at 6 wins in a row, and he goes for the finish. He's won four of his last 5 by finish, and I know he's going to be coming out tonight real strong, looking for that gilly, or possibly even with some hands and some strikes, but under the tutelage of GSP and Faraz Zahabi and former 2-time PFL lightweight champion of the world, $1 million winner ×2, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He's under, the perfect coaching guru to succeed, and I'm going to be putting a couple on him tonight as a live dog, and not just because of where he's from, but his skill set as well. He's fought everybody locally and in the PFL. So shout out to him, and good card tonight, and can't wait for tomorrow. But first, started off tonight with a W for Canada.
Let's get it. Love that.
Nice.
PFL, I feel, is really stepping up the roster and just the depth of fighters. So definitely an organization to keep your eye on. But headed into, we're going to start with the main card, Jing Lang versus Carlos Prates, Brazilian. Not sure what you guys think about this matchup here, welterweight fight. Looks like there's a bit of a winning streak here for Carlos, but any initial thoughts, leans? What do you think for the betting card here?
Yeah,
go
ahead there, Zone.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I don't know Carlos as well. I have watched Li Jianliang fight a few times. I know he's extremely tough. I got finished by Chimaev, but who didn't get finished at the beginning of his career in the run in the UFC. So, but I'm looking at Carlos by KO TKO is -110. Clearly, that is the lean that everyone's going for. But him by decision at +275. Maybe initial leanings for me looks interesting. I think Lee might be tough enough to kind of last out 3 rounds. That's not an official pick by easy lines by me by any means, but I have some more official leans later on. But just my first initial look at it, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Tony?
Yeah. All I have to say, I also don't know about the decision. It could, because he's a veteran, Lee, but Prates, his hands are unbelievable. He's going to climb up the ranks quick. I think he gets it done inside the distance tomorrow. By strikes, he's an absolute animal. But Lee does have a chin, and he's been around the game. He's going to be 37, but he might have the IQ to stick around and stay out of the big exchanges, but he also likes to throw down himself. So I think it's going to be definitely the fight that you want to watch to kick off a pay-per-view tomorrow night. I can't wait to see that. 10 o'clock, be ready to go.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Going down.
As you guys notice here on Tapology, tail tape, pretty similar, right? Physically. One call out though is Lee obviously has a tougher strength of schedule. you know, Carlos pretty new to the UFC. He's made pretty quick work of the guys he has fought against, but I think you're right. The speed is going to be the X factor. He's going to have a little more upside. I don't think I'm going to go with the prop. I think what I'm going to do is just take Carlos money line as a parlay piece. Can't really do a single bet minus 350, but if you multiply that with some other props we'll be sharing or some other favorites, perhaps that could be a nice, you know, 2, 3 fight parlay and turn into what, plus 100, plus 200, something like that. So that's who I'm going to lean with. But we'll move on to heavyweight bout here. We've got Tai Shui Tuivasa versus Rosenstrike. We were talking about this earlier. Who are you guys leaning towards?
Yeah, no official lean for me on this one either. But yeah, I'm looking at the odds right now. Rosenstrike by finish, KO or TKO minus 175. So that's clearly again, we're seeing a lot of these like very heavy on the finishes here on a few of these fights. I've never really seen it this heavy on that type of thing, that minus two, almost a minus 200. So clearly they think that's going that way. Both fighters have an extremely strong schedule. They've both fought some of the top heavyweights out there. I know Rosenstrike fought Nagano, I believe JDS as well. Tuivasa has fought Cyril Gahn, some other people. So I know they both have extremely strong schedules, have fought some good people. Looked for the finish here. I mean, heavyweights, I think the finish is the way to go here. The under 1.5 rounds is minus 210. So maybe something you want to look to parlay. But yeah, what are you guys thinking for this one?
Zoni?
Yeah, this one's tough for me. Um, it's in Ty's backyard, like I was saying, and he needs a win. Can never count him out. Rosenstrike to me's been kind of he hit a dip and then now he's back up again and he's right there. Like the winner of this, well, I would say more so Rosenstrike. If he wins this, he could be looking at like the winner of the next Volkov fight or possibly number one contender. Um, yeah, I don't know. This one's tough for me. I don't
Yeah.
really have a great read on it.
Yeah, these lines, if you look at it, like it's so weird. Some of like the props and stuff, like when's the last time you've seen both guys plus 800, plus 1200 for a 3 round fight decision? Like it's just not anything you're normally used to
Yeah.
seeing. When do you see Ty, who's money line plus 200 by KO plus 260? Like there's just no value really, 60 cents to, you know, do a prop. I think if you do anything, maybe hope for a club and sub. Take one of these guys. So Rosenstrike, the favorite, plus 2,000 submission. Tie plus 2,500. Yeah, they don't usually win method of victory by sub, but if they clip them, ref doesn't stop the fight. They could just throw them in a quick choke, and that could be, you know, a nice moneymaker, right? 20 to 1 odds. So yeah,
Just
it's
to talk about what you're saying, Kronz, I'll
yeah,
say this because I remember from a few weeks back,
yeah.
the former Hooks In alum, um, his name's escaping me for a sec, but he, I didn't pick this, but I think I picked him by TKO, and the sub was plus 1,800, and he ended up getting the sub. And I was like, this is unbelievable. Like that never happens, but it does. It can. And it was, I'm pretty sure it was a club and sub. And that was in, I think it was late heavyweight. So, I mean, definitely possible, I guess is where I'm going with
It's
it.
not out of the realm of possibilities, what we like to say here. I'm trying to think of who that was. That was
I'll
like in
know it.
July.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, but
that's okay. Bukakis.
yes,
That's who it
Modestus
was
Acosta.
over Pracino. Yeah, he got a triangle choke there in the 3rd round. I
Yeah, and
do remember watching that. Yep.
it was plus 1,800. Like,
Yep.
couldn't believe it, but it
So
happened.
let's do this, guys. Half unit sub. You could do it on each, uh, one or the other. I don't really see it's. I don't know. It's not much different. Plus 2,000 versus plus 2,500. That could just be a nice little kicker if you end up hitting. But yeah,
Yeah.
tough matchup to call. for varying reasons, but should be some fireworks nonetheless. Let's keep it moving. We're going up to Matthias Gamrot, the Pole, versus Dan Hooker. Z's, who you feeling, bud? Might be technical difficulties. Zoni, do you want to start on the Hooker Gamrot?
Yeah, I mean, Gamrot is the more complete fighter. I would say Hooker's fought maybe the better competition. Um, Hooker, it's more his part of the world. Gamrot is ranked higher. Hooker looked good his last time out. I just don't know about the pace and the wrestling of Gamrot against him. So I'm not sure if Z mentioned this before. If he did, then I agree with it. But Gamrot by decision, I'm liking. I feel like that's a good.
That's his
Uh,
style, right?
yeah, it's his
Chain
style. And
wrestling, getting them down, not really inflicting a crazy amount of damage, nor does he really like take too many or absorb too many strikes. Like he's got pretty good D, pretty good movement.
yeah, and great pace and cardio, and he's only lost one fight in his last 8 fights. Um, but he does have
Yeah.
one, two, three of his last 4 wins are by decision. So I don't know. I think Hooker sticks around and keeps it tight, but I'll go with a 29-28 Gamrot.
Yeah, I love this pick actually. This is one of my stronger leans of the week, and that is Gamrot by decision. I didn't even have to look at the lines to like think that was probably the most likely outcome, but it doesn't pay all that well. It is still minus 135, but like again, uh maybe parlay that. I am seeing a nice boost where they both land over 100 strikes, not sig strikes, just any straight, and for it to go to the distance plus 325. That seems doable, and maybe even Hooker squeaks out a win there, you still would cash because it's just
Yep.
going to the cards, right?
Yeah.
There's another nice one on here, caught my eye. Gamrot with 50 significant strikes, over 1.5 rounds, and him to win, whether he knocks him out in the third or gets his hand raised by decision. So those two I'll probably sprinkle on, but
What's that one pay, Ben?
one plus 175, so almost 3 to 1, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Um, just because like the likelihood of it happening is quite strong. So
But I can also see him wrestling Hooker, getting him down, but
mhm.
still giving him some strikes. Not finishing strikes, but peppering away at him a little bit at the body, a little bit at the, taking the back, some at the head, and I think he can get up to 50 for sure.
Yeah, and if it is on the feet, he does have those nice leg kicks that I
Yep,
think could kind of just,
add
chip
up.
away, battle or war of attrition, I should say. And obviously we all know Hooker, he's a great boxer and he's got that nice jab, crisp jab.
Y-
So
Yes, he does.
this one will be good. I mean, it's what do they say? Styles make matchups, and that's exactly what we got here.
Yep.
I know the crowd's gonna be supporting Hooker here. But yeah, Gamrot seems to be on a pretty good trajectory, only 2 losses ever. And I think it's only a matter of time before he's in that top contender contention. So,
Yep.
yeah, that'll be a nice one. So, heading into the co-main event of the evening, we've got Kai Kara France versus Steve Ursig. If I'm not mistaken, one of the few APAC matchups with Kiwi and Aussie going at it. Who you thinking in this one?
Yeah, I think I differ from Z-Ball here. I'm actually going to go with KKF. He oh Z-Ball just said his power went out.
Oh,
So
okay.
it makes some sense. Speaking of power going out, no, I don't know,
Astroboy. Yeah.
possibly, but
Yeah.
Kai Car France, I think gets it done tomorrow. I always feel like somebody who fights for a title and ends up losing, sometimes maybe takes a step back their next fight. Not that they don't want to get the win back in that column, but you build up for a 5-round fight. and a lot goes into it. And when you lose, you kind of lose a little bit of your momentum to get you to the title fight to begin with. And even though these guys are both kind of, from the same area, Kai Kara France has been, laboring a little bit, and I think he needs a win. Now, Ursig, if you're standing up with him the whole fight and it's a boxing fight, he's going to kill you. He's going to outpoint you. His jab's fantastic. He has great reach and distance, and he's just really smart. Unfortunately, when he fought Pantoja made it a little messy. Got some grappling exchanges in there, and that's not his strong suit. I think Kai Kara France makes this fight messy. He has to. He can't just stand there and trade. He's going to find an opening and kind of change levels, I think, multiple times. And I like him to squeak out a decision. He has the power to knock him out, but I think just the grind. I got Kai Kara France winning this.
You convinced me. I was on the fence. Just so everyone knows, Z-Balls' pick is Urseg. He did lean and favor him. But the more I think about it, and we talk about this a lot on Hooks In, is strength of schedule. Kai Kara France has that advantage, frankly. Not to mention he's had, 35 professional fights to Urseg's 14. So just that experience, knowing what to do in third rounds of fights that might be close and knowing what the judges are looking for, I think it's going to give him an edge. And I think there's value here. I think personally, I'm not a handicapper or line maker, but I think this is more of a pick 'em fight. It should be more of that like minus 150, plus 140, whatever. So I think there's some hidden value, and looking at decision plus 260 for Kai Kara, I'm liking that. I really am. There is a nice boost as well. If you don't think it's going to be decision, it's Kai Kara France over 1.5 rounds. So that could be interesting, right? Maybe third round opens up. They split the first two and they start to think, hey, I really got to go for the knockout here. I don't want to leave it up to the judges. And we see some sort of late third round KO. That could be a safe bet because you're still going to get over 3-1 odds there. So
that 1.5 too from previous like experiences, it's halfway through the second round. So it could even be a late second round. Like the first one, they're feeling each other out, and then maybe someone makes a mistake, and it's the back half of the second round.
Gets injured
I like that.
Partly way through. Yeah, I do too. And like
I like that.
When you compare that to Kai by decision, that's not much difference in odds.
No.
So like why not just go take a little bit of a hedge, and I think the probability is outweighing the price difference in odds.
That actually gives you an extra 7.5 minutes of leeway. Like
absolutely. And
pretty good.
This isn't by method, right? This could be a decision still, could be a sub, could be a knockout. So you get a little more, I don't know, freedom.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this in general, just to take a step back, this will be a really good match. I'm very excited for this main card. Prelims not as much, but the main card is I think pretty star-studded. And what I like too is there's a lot of different weight classes, right? Sometimes you see a bunch of middleweights or light heavies going. We get kind of one of everything here. So it's nice to see that.
You're right. Yeah, we do get one of everything.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
So let's head into the middleweight championship of the world. We've got a bit of a beef going on like social media and in the pressers. Some kind of funny things were shared by Izzy today. I'm not an Izzy fan, so I hope Duplessis wins. But as a betting person, things like that, I am kind of leaning towards Izzy. I don't know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts, analysis, and I'll follow suit with mine.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I don't love Izzy either, but I do respect everything he's done in the sport. Looked like he got, Duplessis got to his feelings a bit there, and he's upset him. And for some reason, I don't think this is going to go well for DDP. I think he gets finished. I don't like the matchup for him. He's obviously been on a roll, and everybody's doubted him, and he's ran through some of the best. and he's really made a name worldwide for himself. It's been really cool to see because we used to joke about his name and kind of who he was representing, but he's really proved everybody wrong. Um, but I don't think this is a good matchup for him. The footwork and the length and the
Yeah.
reach and just the way that Israel sets up deadly strikes. I know he'd lost to Pereira a couple times, but the time that he did finish Pereira was disgusting, dirty handwork, and he destroyed him. Um, and he's kind of struggled a bit lately, but I truly believe this is a really bad matchup for Duplessis, and I have Adesanya by a TKO or a KO.
Mm. Yeah, I agree generally. Just want to call it maybe something different in the sense that I think the only path to victory for Duplessis is going for that takedown. We all saw this was a couple years ago now. Jan Blachowicz gave
Yeah,
Izzy really just like a wake up call saying, hey, if I take you down and just lay on top of you and use my weight, that's really Izzy's weakness, right? He's a stand-up guy. He's got that range you mentioned. He's quick, great footwork, athletic, but he's not great on the mat. And if I'm
no,
Duplessis's coach or him himself, that's what I'm looking for that. So maybe it's first round, kind of feeling each other out, range, a little bit of striking. Then second round, I think Duplessis is going to shoot. He's going to really just try to lay in prey.
yeah,
And I think if he does win, I don't think he's really finishing Izzy. I think he's probably gonna get it on the points. He's the defending champ. We all know this in title fights. The judges seem to favor the champion. You really have to beat them to get that, points nod. So it is a bit odd. You usually don't see the challenger as the favorite, but Izzy's got that storied history and reputation. And at the end of the day, yeah, my pick is Izzy by finish. Realistically, I don't see it going all 5 rounds. I really don't.
no,
Duplessis, the knock on him is he's over aggressive. He's not great on defense. Stand up, it's a little bit unorthodox. He kind of just blitzes you and, you know, leaves his chin open. So I think Izzy's going to catch him kind of like he did with Pereira there. And just, what was it like? He kind of countered him, right? It was that little hook or something.
yeah. He was up against the fence, and then there was a counter, and then an overhand, and then he put him out.
You blink your eyes and the fight's over. And at the time, you're thinking Alex is gonna walk away with another knockout. But
And I
yeah,
think that, just to add, like
yeah,
looking back at that Strickland fight, like that was a complete shock. And
yep,
I don't think he wants a performance like that again. Plus, Duplessis is South African and all the stuff with the where they're from and who they are as people
true
and what
African.
they yeah. So I think this is extra motivation and he made him cry. Like I think Izzy is gonna just this is gonna be maybe one of his better performances. I have a feeling. I don't know. It's a gut
I
feeling.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It's not in New Zealand, obviously, but it's in Australia. He's got that bit of home court advantage. He's not getting any younger. He's 35. He might not have too many of these title shots left if he loses. So I think, yes, there's a lot of pressure on Izzy, but I also think there's some like, I don't know, motivation and like urgency that
Yeah.
he's probably put a lot of work into this camp. So yeah, official pick hooks in is Izzy by finish. If we're looking at the props here, let's head into that. Looks like it's plus 300 for Izzy, which, people know him as being that conservative kind of points fighter. So that kind of makes sense to me. If you're looking at the rounds over unders, under, 3.5 rounds is pretty good, plus 105. And if you're a little more aggressive, under 2.5 rounds, plus 160, I think is both of those pretty good options. Maybe add that to a parlay, or you could even go single with the juice there. Um, cool. So that wraps up our title fight. We've only got about 3 minutes. So any like prelim call outs or maybe just even matches to circle and make sure to tune into or
The only one I'll mention is Casey O'Neill. She was like she's been on fire. And then I think I don't know if she lost 2 in a row or just one, but
Two, yeah. Lipsky and Maya.
yeah. So before her losses, people were saying like she's going to be champion, all this stuff, and then she's kind of been humbled a bit.
Mm,
I actually like her. There's a boost for plus 180 over 1.5 rounds
mm,
for O'Neill. Not a
okay.
terrible large amount, more than just her money line, but I mean, not to say that these fights don't get finished that quick because they can, obviously, but I like that boost. I think she bounces back. So the plus 180 over 1.5 rounds, that's the one that I'll mention.
Nice. Yeah, I like that too. Confused me seeing nationality Scotland fighting out of Australia, but who
Hmm.
knows? Maybe her family was a bunch of prisoners and criminals kicked out of the UK and they got sent on a ship down to Australia. But um, yeah, that's a good analysis. I think these both are obviously quite young, right? 26, 24 years old and only, you know, not even a dozen pro fights each. So that'll be a good fight. And yeah, I like the plus. You always like to ride some of these dogs. So um hope everyone cashes some of these parlays, some of these prop bets that we shared with y'all. Be on the lookout for episode 100. We're one episode away, so thanks for following us the last 4 years. It's been a blast, and I do think as well UFC's. I don't know when it. I don't know about what you think about this zone. I felt I went through a bit of a lull over the last maybe 6 months, but it's starting to like, at least in my opinion, get more exciting and better matchups here over the next few
Yeah,
months.
I
So
think so too. And I just wanted to add before we left, your buddy fights tomorrow as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Seb, I should have called them out.
So he's got the 5 fight win streak and he's fighting for the featherweight championship for Eternal.
Eternal.
So if he can win that, he might get a contender series call up,
I
in my
think,
opinion.
yeah, I think you're right. Eternal MMA. Good.
If he can get a finish.
Yep. So here he is here. I guess this one is tomorrow as well. It's in Australia, funny enough, as well. So it's going to be competing with UFC for viewers. But yeah, it's out of Perth. Seb, if you're watching, if you're listening, hope you
Good
take
luck.
it home 6 hours from now. So yeah, let's get your hand raised, and then we look forward to seeing you in the UFC at the big show.
Good luck, brother.
Um, Thanks for the reminder there, Zoni, and thanks
Yeah, I
for
knew.
everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you for the Century episode very, very soon. Let's get it.